Okay, YouTube, I thought I would mainly do this video and probably updates of videos and eventually taste test videos whenever I do have figs that are ripe, but this is just kind of a rundown of, yes, it is possible to grow figs in more humid tropical climates like Florida. It does present some challenges that you may not exactly have with other fruits, like, mangoes, bananas, papaya, different things like that. But this is an Olympian hardy Mount Etna variety. It's got a mostly closed eye, so for the most part it does pretty well here. Does get rust, as you can see on this leaf. That's a good example of fig rust. There's another one down there that's getting some. It doesn't really do anything to it and doesn't really affect fruit. We've got one here, got an organza bag on it to keep birds away. It's starting to get some sugar spots. Luckily this one is not splitting. I did have one about twice that size actually split. It already had its color and was almost ripe, so that's kind of a bummer. I have an Olympian hardy over here, another Olympian in the ground. Yeah, there you go. There's rust. Actually doing surprisingly well. Whatever those weeds, wild grass, whatever that is, as out of it as best I can. I keep it fertilized pretty well. It's producing. Got one down there. It's getting ready to get color on it. Not softening yet, but it's getting there. And the eye, mostly closed. So a lot of these Mount Etna varieties have a mostly closed or tight eye, even when ripe, so they generally do okay. Then moving on, I have in a 7-gallon, I have a Black Mission. And I don't know exactly what the deal is with this one. But I don't see any signs of any other figs even, remotely close to coming in on it. But it does have one. Got an organza bag on it. Just gonna check to see. Oh no, it's not even remotely close. Not even spongy in the slightest. Now, over here in ground, I have white Marseille. Got this one at a Lowe's. It does have a strong case. There's rust. New growth coming in on it, and it is in ground, so I'm actually kind of happy about that. These sections of growth, they just never opened. I'm not sure what the reason for that is, but see, you got new growth getting ready to come in. It's doing okay for being in the ground. This is, I believe, a Celeste. It is struggling mightily. It's getting ready to ripen a couple of figs. I'm thinking I may have potentially a nematode problem with it though, which sucks. What else do I have? Coming across, I have quite a few others. I've got another Celeste, and as you can see, 99% sure that's a nematode problem because it's well fertilized. I may just have to call this tree at some point a loss, although it is getting ready to ripen some figs. It did okay at first, but it really has been struggling lately. I have a tree that is probably, if I would have to compare it to anything, growth wise or characteristics or shape of, early fruit, this is LSU Tiger. I would say probably as explosive of a grower or prolific as a grower as my LSU Purple that's actually in ground. Got a lot of healthy growth on it. There's some rust, of course, it's Florida. It's got some figs coming in on it. Yeah, it is what it is in Florida when it comes to figs. See, that new growth that's coming in down there is really, really light and kind of spotty. Probably a little too much rain, but none of the other, if you pay attention, none of the other leaves are really looking that worse for wear, so I wouldn't really worry about it. If I saw leaves turning solid yellow, I would say probably grossly overwatered and the roots might be rotten, but it's not looking horrible, and it is putting out new growth, so I would say that's okay. I have another Olympian Hardy. This actually started out as basically a single twig, not much farther up from where this sandwich bag tie that I've got it on with that I used. New growth all over it. Figs, and of course Olympian does ripen Breba, so and main crop, so this should actually, if the conditions are right, I could even get figs on this one. Then I have a GE Neri that was a tissue culture from Wellsprings Gardens. This thing, believe it or not, started out like 3 inches tall. It's basically doubled in height. It seems to be really, really blowing my expectations away, how fast it's growing. It looked pretty rough when I got it, but it for the most part, it's taken off and looking healthy. I have a California yellow long neck, and also from Wellsprings Garden. Unfortunately, this one is struggling, although if you look, it's getting ready to put out a new leaf. I really am not sure what is going on with this one, but it just is not great. Then I have a Little Ruby, which is also another Mount Etna variety. And unless I'm incorrect, I think it was actually discovered by the same guy, Dr. Denny McGoey, if I'm pronouncing that right, that discovered Olympian. Yep, sitting out new growth. And they're in containers and getting quite a bit of rain. So, they're not really struggling. This is actually not a fig tree, it's a macadamia nut tree. And this is green ischia. This I got from an online place called Just Fruits and Exotics, a Florida-based nursery. It's in I believe it's listed as a 5.2 gallon nursery pot from Lowe's. It was in ground. I believe nematodes were after it, so I uprooted it as carefully as possible. I trimmed away some of the knotted root mass and sprayed it down with geraniol, which is a natural nematicide, in case anybody ever has problems with them. And already, just today, it actually, I took off some of the bad leaves, but it's not looking really any worse for wear, so I think it should actually do okay. Would really love to start seeing some figs on it, but you know, you can't rush things. Now to my in-ground, I have the most explosive, prolific growing plant of any kind and productive plant that I've ever actually owned. Fruit, vegetable, regardless of what it is, sending out new growth everywhere. This is LSU purple in ground. I have seen, we do have quite a bit of sand in our soil. We do have some dark organic matter, but it is, I would say, probably closer to 70% sand. This tree really is, yeah, see, I've got one in there. Unfortunately, it did split, so that's a no-go on that one. Very unfortunate that I actually wound up having an LSU purple split. That's just bad luck in general. First time I've ever had that happen with an LSU purple, believe it or not. I'm just going to leave that there and come back to it later, see if I can get it off. A lot of mangoes and other things. And then my project for today is going to be to rescue another in-ground fig tree that I was foolish enough to think that I could actually protect from nematodes. I have a Violetta de Bordeaux, and as you can see, rust, really bad rust. Really bad rust. And I believe some of the yellowing is actually probably coming from nematodes. Although ironically enough, it's even sending up new healthy growth with it being in ground. But yes, this is a variety that really struggles with, really struggles with rust. It's just something that happens with this variety. Every person in Florida I know that has Violetta de Bordeaux struggles with it, with rust. And that is going to be definitely uprooted and put into a larger pot at some point today. But yes, this is just gonna be predominantly dedicated to figs, but it's mainly, the purpose of the channel is mainly going to be to show that yes, you indeed can grow figs in Florida, but sometimes they're a headache, and your actual output, like how many figs you're going to be able, fresh figs you're going to be able to enjoy a year, is probably going to be depressingly low for how much work you put in. But that's pretty much the gist of it. Like, subscribe, or just, you know, watch the videos if you have ever been interested in growing figs in Florida. I'd appreciate it.